Okay, and welcome back to Simply Web, where we are taking a HTML template and converting that into a functioning WordPress theme. Let's head over to where we were at last time, where we had just finished building out the hero element for our home page as well as our inner pages. If we look at the live demo now, we want to do these feature cards. So we'll head over to index.html. Index.html, and there's our feature cards. Let's copy them. Now we could go into our front page and we could drop it in here, but we're going to continue to use this template parts. Now we're going to work on the home page. So we're going to go home and we're going to go features. Now the reason I use template parts is because now if I wanted to add this same content somewhere else, I could just load it just by using the get template part function, WordPress function that we'll do right now. So we go get template part, and we're going to we're getting the file in template parts that we just created, home and features. Oops, home/features. All right, so now if we refresh our home page, there's our features. Cool, so we've got them in there. Now, if we look at the features, we've got a font awesome icon, which we can see just there, FA mail, FA search, FA laptop. So we want to be able to include font awesome icons. Now we could try and create a custom select field or custom radio buttons where the user could pick an ACF field, but instead what we're going to do is we're going to go into add new plugin, and if we search for ACF font, pretty sure there is a plugin for font awesome. There we go. Install. Last updated a month ago, so it's 100,000 active users, so it's recent. So we know it should work with our you remember when we queued it, we were using the ACF font awesome, version 6 in our queue. So now if we go back to our edit field group and we're working in the home still from when we were left off in the hero, let's add a new tab and we'll call this features. Now, just why do I use tabs? Let me go run through this quickly. It's for the end user. It makes it really easy to find the content you want to edit and edit it. So if we look at our live demo here, so if we update our home page here, so we got hero, we got features, we got hero, we got features. Our next section would be about. So we would, if we wanted to edit something in here, we would just go to the about tab and edit the values in here. Next one would be, I don't know, counters. So we would go to the counters and we'd enter the values there. So, and then the next one would be services. So you can see it's broken up into basically blocks, which is why WordPress and page builders all use basically a block editing experience now. But my dislike on that, and a lot of agencies will tell you the same thing, I don't know about everywhere, but the agencies I've worked in, they like to lock down the design so people can't ruin the layout, ruin the design, especially when you're doing a bespoke design. I've worked on sites where customers are paying over $100,000. So yeah, so we want to make sure that the experience they're receiving is easy to get to, but they're not going to ruin anything on the front end by just dragging. Oh, that looks nice. I'll drag it in, and suddenly they've got this purple site, but they've got this bright orange or bright pink. So it just helps locking down the design, and that's why I prefer to do it this way. Okay, so in here we've added our icon, so we can see we want these to be repeaters. So we're going to add a repeater, and we call this one features. And in our features, I'm going to go over to my code now, we want our icons. So first thing we want, let's have a look, font. There's our font awesome icon. I'm going to call that icon. And we'll call that feature icon. I'm just going to copy that. So you can see it's got the pro versions in there, and we're just going to, but we don't have a pro license, so we're just going to leave the free ones. No default icon. We want to return, not sure what this will return here. We'll see. We'll play around with this when we start adding. We don't want it to be null. We'll show the preview. We don't need to enqueue because we're already enqueuing. I want to make this output as a block, not as a table, and that means we're going to add it in our heading. Oh, actually, go. This is home features, and we can just leave that as icon because that's where we want to prefix it to separate it because this is nested within that. So the heading. The next thing we want is a description. Now, if you remember, I used text areas in the hero. I'm not doing that for the heading, but I will do that for the description. So let's go back to our field group. Let's add a text area description. And in this presentation, I only want 2 rows and add that breakpoint again. Next thing we've got, that's it. That's all we have. So we're displaying that as a block, so that way we could do it as a table actually. So it'd be icon, heading, description all on one row, or we can have it as a block. Actually, I'll display it as a row. Yeah, as a row. So now in the presentation side of this, let's just show the heading when it's collapsed, and we'll go add feature. Field. And save that. So now when we edit our page, bingo, let's add a feature. Our first icon is the mail bulk. Search. Envelope bulk. That's got a heading of digital marketing, and that's the description right there. I'm just going to add our, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to add our 3. So I'm just pasting that description while I've got it copied. The next one is a search. Search. Magnifying glass, that's what we want. And SEO and backlinks is the heading for that one. And the last one is laptop code. So laptop code, and that is design and development. So let's just update that. Now go over to our features, and once again at the top, there we go, features equals get field home features, and return an empty array if it's so be it, and then we can go if is R, so we do it using our helper class for features, so we're checking that it's a valid array and that it's not empty. Oops, no, do that. And down here, PHP and if, so we don't show anything if there are no features. Now this is our, so you can see here, it's splitting it up into it's got a row, and it is 1, 2, 3 per row. So that's fine if you've only got 3, but what if the person adds 4, 5, 6? So let's add another one just for fun in here. Let's just, I don't know. Choose one of these down the bottom here. Let's server search. Users, that's fine. Users. user. So I'm going to error one of those in there. There. Just add that as the description, and we'll go user heading. Cool. So now we've got 4 features in here. So if we var dump features, front end, refresh that, we can see there's our features. Okay, so next thing we want to do is, so where we've got 4, well, that's fine when it's stacked, but when it's in a row, because if we open this to full screen, so we would want the 4th one to show down here. So let's do that by using array slice. Array chunk. So if we do features chunks equals we want array chunk. This is a PHP function, array chunk. So we're going to get our features, okay, and we're going to split them into chunks of 3. So at the moment, our var dumping features, don't need that indexed, indented, we don't need that. So at the moment we're var dumping our features. You can see it's an array of 4. If we change that to features chunks, we can see we now get 2 arrays. The first array is 3 and the second array is 1. There 1. So we're now splitting it into 3. So what we can do, so then we go in here, we go PHP for each chunks, feature chunks, as features, and after that closing div, PHP, close that loop off. So now we're looping through each of the rows, and then in here we want to loop through for each features as feature. And for now, I'm just going to comment out these 2 cards here. So what we've done here is they're all the same. You see we've got this run on here. So we'll work that out in a second. All right, the other thing I want to do is, right, we'll worry about that in a second. I'm just looking at the loop. So we can see now we're getting 1, 2, 3, and if we go make that full screen, we can see that's wrapping down. So, but we want to add a margin top to the second row. So key features. So in here, we want to go key does not equal 0, does not equal 0. We want to output mt-10 for now. Maybe 4. So we're saying if the key is not 0, so basically if it's not the first one, let's give it a class of mt-4, which I'm pretty sure is the bootstrap. If we go bootstrap 5 margin top. So we want mt, so mt-4. Cool. So now if we refresh this, that did not give me let's try this. If key equals 0, class equals, else class equals, and let's just do that for the first one, and then in here we just want to echo the class, similar to what we did earlier in the buttons in the hero. Let's see if that worked. There we go. So now you can see we've got that. Maybe 4. Oh, yeah, we're doubling it up. There we go. So before, because we're doing the gap 4 is 2 and 2, so we want to half that. We want to give it a margin top 2. So that just allows us to, if we go full screen now, you can see it just gives us our margin on the top of that row. Cool. All right, now we can go about echoing out that content. So these classes are all the same, but we've got this delay. So what we're going to do, I'm going to set I equals 0. So we're defining I as 0, point 1. No, I equals 0. And then in here, we want to go we can just go in, do it straight in here. We can go PHP equals I plus I. Oh, come on, type. I plus 0.1. So what we're doing, we're starting with I as 0, and then every time we loop through here, we're adding 0.1. So it'll be 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, so on and so forth. Cool. That fixes that. Now let's just VAD up the feature and make sure we are working within the feature. VAD up. And we are. So we've got an array of 3, icon, heading. So let's do, actually we'll do this. I want to bring that in. That's going to come in because we're working in a loop. But we've got PHP, we'll close this one off now. And we want heading equals, if not empty, feature and heading. Let's do the icon, because that's first. And we'll do the description. So, oops. PHP if heading does not equal empty string. So we'll do our normal check. Let's make sure we're not rendering out content that doesn't need to be there. Because if we did, so yeah, okay, let's just go through this. If we didn't do heading equals blank, we just did that, we would still get the H5 HTML element with a margin bottom. So we'd see this big empty space. That's why I make sure that there's a heading value. Same as with the padding, with the paragraph. If we didn't do is description empty, we would get that, we would still render out that paragraph, which we just don't need. That extra spacing. All right, so now the icon, I'm not sure how this is going to render. Let's just have a look. So if icon does not equal, so if we var dump print f, this is different than a var dump, because if you look at when we're var dumping, we're actually rendering out that. I don't want to render out the actual HTML. I want to see what that HTML looks like. So I'm just outputting the code, because the font family is then converting it to us. But so I'm pretty sure it'll be an I string blah blah blah, which is probably what we don't want. So if we do that now, have I done something wrong? Let's just something I've done wrong there, because this is not rendering. Sure it is. Maybe it's print F like that. What am I doing wrong? Ah, here we go. Yeah. Let's just undo that. That's probably C or Python or something I'm doing. No, it's still outputting, but we're outputting it as. So if we look now, so we can see it's outputting that and a number at the end of it. I don't know where that number's coming from, but anyway. So we can see we're getting the I class, but we're not getting the 3 times, etc., etc. So let's edit that field group, because we need more than that. We need to be able to just do the font name. So here, if we remember with icon element, let's do the icon class, and then we'll update and refresh. So now we're getting, that's what we want. Cool. So we'll get rid of our echo, and this is where we want to do so let's have a look. refresh, and there we go. The reason we had to change that, just to remember, is because we have these other classes as well. FA3 times text bright NB4. So we've made it where we're making sure that we're outputting some features. Then we're splitting them into chunks of 3. So there's always 3 per row. Then we're creating a row for each one. And if it's the first one, there's no margin on top. Every other row after that will have a margin top just to give us that spacing between them. And then we're looping through those features in each row and we're outputting them. And we're just making sure each part is not empty. So that brings us to the end of our feature section. I'm just going to go back into this feature here and I'm just going to remove that last one. So we're back to the 3. And if we look, let's just double check that. So they're all getting the same fade in. Okay, let's just have a look what's going there. So our fade in let's do this. Let's go. So that should set I to 0 there. So you can see it's adding. So I let's do this. Delay equals I. Let's just var dump delay so we can see what it's outputting. So we should see 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we don't want that. Try that. Now we should see 0, 0, 0 plus 0.1. So that's not right. Okay, so what we need to do is this delay is not working. As we can see, if I refresh this, we can see it's 0.1, 0.1. The correct thing we should do is we should round that. So let's just do that. Let's go. So I'm going to punch the code in. So we're going to set it to variable of delay. We're going to I plus 1 times 0.11. All right, so we're rounding it to 1 decimal place, and we're taking that I, adding 1, and then timesing it by 0.1 to give us our 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. And then in our data way delay, we're just going to go in and output that there. Then if we save that, but then down here, we need to increment that I++. So we're going to go in here, we're going to go PHP, and oops, so we need to increase that after each one. So what we want to do is just go I++. Just like that. So now if we refresh, we can now see it's 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. Let's add back in our fourth one there and see how that. That'll do. Heading, description, let's just do that. So let's see if that resets to 0. So the fourth one now, if we go into this fourth one, you can see that's reset to, whoops, this one here, inspect. That's reset back to 0.1. So on the home page, so this will come in at the, if we refresh, this will come in at the same time as that one, and then this one, that one, this one, that one. So we're not, see, so they're all fading up together with a slight delay, 0.1, 0.2, boop, boop, boop. All right, cool. So that's working exactly how we wanted for that delay functionality, and finishes off working on our features. So in the next one, we are going to be working on the About Us section, so our experience, and we'll add that in with our count ups and everything like that. So let's stop this one right here, and I will see you in the next video.